SG. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yes, now we can
Okay,
hear
awesome.
you. Yay.
Okay, great. I'm gonna share my screen.
Oh,
All right, can you guys see
Okay,
that?
baby.
yes, we
Silly
can
mommy
see
wasn't
that.
watching what she was doing.
All right. All right, so I'm here to talk to you guys today about manifesting. So, what is manifestation, right? I don't know. I want to first off by asking everybody in the room today, and I can't see everybody, so if like just unmute at any point during this call to chat and share, because I want this to kind of be a sharing session as well. Who here currently practices manifestation in their life? Jake, I see Jake with the hand up. Nobody else saying anything. It's the only person I can see is Jake right now.
And Tanya.
Didn't know
Lindsay
what
and Tanya. Okay. Oh, who was speaking?
I said all my life, but I didn't know what it was called until about a year ago.
Awesome. That's great, Chuck. Yeah. So a lot of people don't really know what it is. So manifestation is actually the idea of bringing something you want into existence through aspirational thought processes. So what exactly is that? So essentially, manifestation is bringing something tangible into your life through attraction and belief. So in simple words, if you think it, it will come. Sounds a little bit like mumbo jumbo. A lot of people don't believe in manifestation. For people who actually do practice it and have become very good at it, it's become something that can really be an influential part of their life. For those of you who know me, those of you who heard me talk in our last meeting for our team meeting, you know, I've had some struggles I've had to go throughout my life. And throughout my life, I've always kept this mindset. Mindset's a huge part of manifestation. It's being able to take things that are maybe something negative, taking that out of your thought process and turning it into something positive or a different type of belief. So reframing and retraining your mind to get through difficult situations or even to achieve goals that you might not think you could achieve or that are, you know, outside of your grasp, because there's really nothing outside of your grasp when it comes to manifestation and what you can do with your mind. Oh, I'm going to go back. Sorry, guys. Bear with me because I'm working with my left hand on a left-handed mouse right now because of my arm. So if I go back instead of forward, that's because I'm not used to it yet. Okay. So I love this quote by Tony Robbins. So he said, whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis, is exactly what you will experience in your life. And I absolutely believe this to be true. So if you were to sit there every day and think negatively about something, you're probably not going to be in the best mood. You're probably going to, you know, go out about your day and give off negative vibes to people, and they're probably not going to enjoy conversing with you. Good things probably aren't going to come to your life. But if you are on the other side of that and you're, you know, constantly thinking about positive things, you're being good to others, you're being positive to others, that energy really does get absorbed by others who are around you. And it is a law of attraction. It will bring positive things back to you. So what are the basic components of manifestation? So there's a lot. I'm not going to go through all of them today. It's just far too much, but I'm going to go through some of the ones that I practice on a daily basis and some that I think that are really important to help you all learn how to manifest and learn how to bring this practice into your life on a daily basis to make you more successful, not only in your personal life, but in your business and in your career as a real estate agent. Because I've really, in the last year, this is my first year being a real estate agent. So in the last year, I've really done a lot of manifesting what I see my business as. Where do I see myself going as a real estate agent? Where do I see my interactions with my clients going? And all of these components are things that I use. So first off, affirmations. So positive affirmations are huge. Okay, so this comes back into that I am thinking. So reframing our mindset to think of ourselves in a positive way. The best part about I am thinking is that sometimes when we don't really believe these things, we can actually train ourselves to believe them. So even if you're struggling with something that you feel like you're weak at and you know you're weak at it, if you say, you know, for example, like let's say you're constantly anxious. So if you sit there and you go, I know I'm an anxious person, but if you say I'm not anxious and you keep saying that to yourself, I'm not anxious, I'm strong, I'm able to do this, right? Your brain will actually train yourself into believing that. So I am statements help you to have more self-worth. It helps strengthen your personality and your character, your values, and the possibility of what you can do in life. So I'm a huge believer in I am statements. I'm also a huge believer in when you do talk to others, projecting I am statements onto them. So how do you do that? So you are this, you are that, right? So if you're talking to a friend and they're telling you, you know, they're feeling down or something, you can project an I am statement onto them by saying, no, you are worthy or you are awesome, right? I know Jennifer does that a lot for all of us. And she's very successful in doing that. And if any of you have had a personal conversation with Jen or sat down with her in an intimate setting with her, she's very big on giving those attributes to people and letting them know who they are and how they make her feel. So when you do that to other people as well, they feel that and it makes them feel good about themselves and it helps them to get stronger at their own I am statements. One of the biggest things with affirmations too, there's another side to it, which is like addressing our limiting beliefs. So a lot of the times we can have thoughts that swirl around in our head that says, you know, I can't achieve this goal. You know, you're creating negative thoughts in your mind that keep swirling around. So you really need to reframe your mindset so that you're able to perceive what you want. And even if you don't believe that's the case, it's what you want to see yourself as, or how you want to perceive yourself or have other people perceive yourself as. So even if you get up once a day and you know, you want to work on one thing, look yourself in the mirror, brushing your teeth, you know, I am fabulous. I've got great hair, you know, like something like that. If you see, you know, I've got great teeth, right? Just make yourself feel good at least a few times a day, I think, because there's too much negative stuff going on in the world that's getting us down. And just picking up our phone and looking at social media too can make us have a lot of negative thoughts about ourselves, right? Especially if we're working on a goal and then we see somebody else hitting that goal and then we're like, oh man, like why am I not hitting that goal fast enough? Or how are they hitting that goal before I am? You know, maybe it's working out and getting in shape and you see all these beautiful people and you're like, why don't I look like that? Right? So stepping back, I think from social media, but helps as well. I try to really limit that so that I'm not having too many I am negative thoughts swirling in my head and have more I am positive thoughts. Oh, sorry guys. See, I went backwards. All right, visualization. Visualization is a huge thing that comes with manifestation. So it aligns your energy and your goals and helps you manifest them into actual reality. So if you see something you want, like visualize that. So for example, like do you see yourself, you know, taking that for sale sign and putting on your sold rider? Actually visualize yourself doing that. There was actually one time I drove by my house in Newmarket that I had for sale, and I had the rider. I just picked it up from Signs in the Making, and I hadn't sold the house yet. But I drove by the house, I sat out front of the house, and I actually visualized myself going there and putting that rider sign on. Within 2 days, I had an offer come in. So whether that was me manifesting that, I think it was, but you know, at the same time, it kept me positive and kept me motivated to know that, you know what, even if I don't sell it today, I'm going to sell it. I know I have this rider sign. It's ready to go. It's ready. I'm ready to put that sold sign on. It can be anything. So for example, like you're going to go see it, do a CMA. This one's for you, Tristan. I don't know if he's on the call, but if not, this one's for Tristan. You're going to do a CMA and turning that into signing of your BRA, right? I know he talks about that a lot. Like we can go do a CMA, but it's about signing the actual BRA. So visualizing that, like take those documents with you. So I always print out BRA documents, even though I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be signing anything that day. I have them ready to go. I have their names on it. I've got everything highlighted ready on my end, how I'm going to talk to these people, what I'm going to say to them when they go to sign that BRA, and I practice what I'm going to talk to them about, especially if you know what their disc character is. So you want to just make sure you're feeding into that as well. Visualization could be things in your personal life. Let's say you want to go on a trip. Maybe you want to have good health. So visualizing those things, a lot of people like to make what's on here like a vision board. That's not me. I find it a little bit too like serial killer-ish, kind of cutting stuff out of magazines and putting it on a board. That's not me. But for those of you who like to do that, by all means, go do that. Like I like to use Post-it notes. Post-it notes are really great. Grab a Post-it note, put something on it, stick it around your house, right? Put it on the fridge. Like I'm going on a trip to this place. Put it on your bathroom mirror, put it next to your toilet, you know, places that you're going to visit in your house a few times a day, put it in your car. You know, make sure you're looking at it and you're reading it. So that's a form of being able to visualize something.
On the ceiling above your bed.
There you go, right? Paint it on there, whatever you got to do, right? Anything that's going to help you visualize it. And it can be really hard for people who are not visual people, right? So this can help with that, right? Okay. Next, we have being clear. So this is the foundation of learning how to manifest. So to get what you want, you have to know exactly what you want. So it's really, really easy for someone to sit there and say, you know, I want to travel. That's my goal. Okay, great. You want to travel. Let's break that down a little bit further and be a bit more clear and precise on what it is you want to do when you're traveling. So where do you want to travel to? What do you see yourself doing on that trip? Who do you see yourself with? Maybe you see yourself picking up something in a gift shop for somebody that you want to bring back, right? So it's actually visualizing yourself on that vacation, on that trip, traveling, going to get your passport renewed, whatever you need to do, getting on the flight, packing your bags. Picture yourself doing those things. It can sound crazy, but we all get minutes in our day while we're driving, especially as realtors, to take a second to think about things that we want for ourselves and actually just take that minute and visualize that. I do it a lot when I'm driving. Sometimes it's just visualizing myself getting out of a traffic jam. So if I can see ahead of me what's going on, it's like, okay, I can visualize what's going to go on next and get
I
myself
hope
out.
you I hope you don't close your eyes while driving.
No, no, no. Definitely not with my right hand not being great, but yeah, so being very precise about what it is you want, okay? Because we generalize things way too much. Like just say, you know, like, oh, I want to be healthy. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. You want to be healthy, but how do you want to be healthy? Like, what exactly do you want? Do you want to be fitting into that dress that you couldn't fit into? Do you want to be 5 pounds lighter? Do you want to just gain muscle mass? Do you want to just be passing your physical exam? Like, there's a lot of things that come with our goals that we really need to break them down and be more concise and precise and clear about what they are. Okay, goal setting. So talking about goal setting. So I always like to visualize a staircase and our big goal at the top of the staircase. Setting goals really need to be realistic ones. When I first started out as a real estate agent, we were like, I remember in our first meeting that we had with Angelique, we talked about our GCI and what we wanted for the year. And I think for a lot of people, it was like, oh, like, I don't know, I've never been a real estate agent before, so I don't know what my GCI is going to be. I'm just going to write down whatever number that sounds great, right? Um, be realistic about those goals, because if they're not realistic goals or things you can actually feel like you can achieve, you're just setting yourself up for failure to begin with. I've always said in my life, like I've had a lot of struggles I've had to deal with, and I learned very young not to set too high of goals for myself like right away. Like have those goals, but work on all the little ones. So that's why I like to perceive this as a staircase. So each step is a portion or a piece of the goal that's going to get you to that big goal at the end. And I don't like to skip steps. I always try to make sure I hit every single step, because you might just end up pulling the rug out from under yourself if you get too ahead of yourself. And if you think of a staircase, it needs to be even, right? You don't want to just be pulling steps out and then your staircase gets dangerous, right? It's harder for you to climb it. You're struggling to get up it. So
Do you
I
mind
always
if I
say,
for a
go
minute?
ahead, Chuck. Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
I have a completely different outlook on what you're talking about right now.
Oh, please share.
I always tell people, and I've always told my students too, because I taught music for decades as well, to make your goal the most unrealistic one possible. Like whatever you think is impossible is the one that you're going to manifest, right?
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
agree with Chuck. I agree with Chuck because then it sounds like limitation of the, goals, not even goals, commitments.
yeah,
absolutely. No,
it's
and I
crazy
agree with that
when
too,
it
Chuck.
may happen, right? When I joined the first brokerage, and they asked me what my GCI was going to be. They laughed at me, and then I achieved it, right? So
Yeah. No, definitely. There's going to be certain goals that you do make for yourself. And I think this is more for those of you that are just learning how to manifest and like setting your goals. Like if, at first, you're probably not going to want to set the craziest goal, because if you don't achieve that when you're manifesting, you're probably going to be like, I didn't get to it, right? But absolutely, I would definitely say like over the years, I've gotten bigger goals. I've gotten more outrageous goals in my mind of what I want to create. And I think there's absolutely a magic to manifestation. There is something in the air with manifestation. There's some science in there as well. Some of the history of it kind of is like, if it goes back to like the 19th century, it has a bit of Greek mythology mixed in with the teachings of Jesus Christ and some pop psychology in there, as well as some science. So if you can, I really do believe if you can think it, you can achieve it, right? So thank you for sharing that part, Chuck. So I definitely do agree with that for those of you who want to kind of think outside the box, but don't get frustrated with yourself if you're not achieving that great, crazy type of goal that you think you couldn't achieve. Because along that staircase, you're probably also like achieving so many really great goals along the way, right? So even if you don't hit that unobtainable one or the one you don't think you can obtain, you're probably hitting a lot of really great ones along that staircase. All right. So act. I love this because action changes things. If we don't act on things, we're actually never going to actually achieve anything. So there is a part that comes into your work that you need to do. So we can sit there and we can go in our minds all day and manifest and say, oh, okay, like I want this to happen. But if we don't actually get out there and do something for ourselves, it's not just going to happen. So if you want to achieve GCI and you want to just sit on your butt all day scrolling your phone and watching Netflix, you're clearly not going to get to that GCI. You actually need to do some action. You need to get out there. You need to follow up with your leads. You need to actually be, doing lead generation. You need to be knocking on doors. You need to be talking to people, right? So we can't just sit there willy-nilly and just hope that things are going to get served to us on a silver platter. There's no scientific evidence that suggests that simply thinking about something and then forgetting about it is going to cause manifestation to happen in your life without taking any action. So this is a huge thing. There's been times in my life where I've felt down, and you have those days where you don't feel like doing anything. If you need a minute for yourself, and that's fine. But you really need to reform and retrain yourself back into a mode of action and doing things. If anybody saw Alex's post yesterday on Instagram, it was really great. She listed all the things that she had done in her day, which was like a ton of stuff that she had done. And I was like, that's a great example of act, because at the end of the day, those actions are going to create some positive change in her life. All right, so trusting the universe and timing. So there's definitely, this is where I think some magic and some faith comes into play. So trusting the timing of the universe requires like surrendering control and having faith that the universe has some plans for you. Has anybody had a situation in their life where they felt like the universe had some plans for them? Like, like something they thought was supposed to happen at a certain time and it didn't happen, but then happened later on. And they were like, hey, wait a second, like that happened. That ended up being better than I thought it was going to be. Anna's do you want to share what that was, Anna, or? Oh,
It's hard to share, like, because there were lots of them, happened all the
lots of,
time. Lots of them, yes.
awesome. That's really
But-
great.
Yes, but as an example, right? I remember when we started with Jennifer, like it was 7 years ago, believe it or not. And we used to be in the office, put some stuff, like you just step on this thing, you write down what your plan is, right? You step on it and talk about it and think about it, right? And at that time, I wasn't really believing. But then I created that visual board and put it in front of my, like here on the desk, right? And yeah, the whole point was to buy the waterfront. And it took me how many years to finally 3 years ago, November 3rd will be 3 years when I bought this waterfront. Because then it was like, like it happened. First it didn't happen, then it happened, right? And so many things happens.
Yeah.
We just have to trust the universe, as you said. Yes.
Absolutely. Sometimes we think we know better for ourselves, but even the Bible talks about it. And I don't know if anybody here is religious, but I don't think manifestation has to be a religious thing. But if you do believe in something, you believe in a God, you believe in something in the universe, pray to that if you need to, talk to the universe, talk to the stars, do whatever you need to do. But at the end of the day, I do believe that there is a timing of things. Bible talks about it as well, that, that we have an idea in our mind, but the universe has bigger things planned for us that we don't even know about, right? So this is my favorite one out of all the components, and I know I'm don't have much time left here, so I'm gonna be really quick. So be grateful and be thankful. I think this is the most important thing. Being thankful and grateful for the things that you have in your life. When we see and achieve goals that we have set for ourselves, it can feel amazing, but sometimes we can forget to be thankful for them and to actually talk to the universe, talk to God, talk to whomever it is that helped you to get to achieve your goals, and to be thankful and grateful for actually getting there. Scientifically, like for one of the things I've noticed, like if you have anxiety while you're trying to create goals and achieve them, because it happens, everybody gets them, but scientifically, our brains are not able to be anxious and grateful at the same time. It's been proven that you cannot do that. So the brain cannot respond to anxiety and gratitude at the same time. It's an either or situation. So if you're feeling anxious about, achieving a goal, getting it done, or you have negative feelings, and then you start to think about something that you're grateful for, even just like taking a second and breathing and going, you know what? I'm grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful that I have food on the table every day, right? Those are actually going to make your brain take that anxiety and just, it's going to disappear immediately. And I want all of you to try that the next time you have anxiety, because it's actually scientifically not possible for your brain to have anxiety and be grateful at the same time. We have there's a sympathetic side of how our brain operates, and then there's the parasympathetic side, and both of them don't work at the same time. So one is anxiety, one is gratitude, and they cannot be both functioning at that same moment. So anybody feeling anxiety, just be grateful. This is why this is a big one for me, because anytime I've had situations that, you're not sure about, maybe you're just feeling like nervous going to talk to somebody, maybe you're doing a CMA with a client you've never met, just talk about, why you're grateful to be going to see that person. That anxiety is immediately going to get flushed away. And
Sorry, may I add something about the being thankful? I wrote it years ago. This is sitting in front of it's on my table. I'm so thankful. All my listings I take sell quickly and bring me many positive qualified buyers.
I love that, Anna. I love that. So if somebody wants to, and I would love for you to share that in our chat if you don't mind, because I think that's like something that we should all have written at our desk, and think about that and read it every day. When we practicing gratitude in a daily and writing it down, saying these things aloud 3 times a day to ourselves, every night time we go to bed, like it will bring good things to our life. I 100% know that. I've been a very thankful and grateful person my whole life, and I've seen and reaped the good consequences of that. So, and benefits. Last but not least is positive mindset. Jen talks about this all the time. So this is a huge part of manifestation. It's simply what it is. So your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. I absolutely agree that with this, being positive is the #1 thing that's going to get you through life, even through those hard situations, even through difficult situations in your life. Staying positive, having that, it's like an essential thought process to have. It's essential to being successful in manifestation. It's essential in like most aspects of your life. Optimism helps attract people, that a law of attraction. You're going to attract people in business. People are going to immediately be drawn to you and want to work with you. And this isn't just in, business. This is in your love life. This is in your family life. This is just in your everyday, what you're doing on a daily basis. So practice it. Make sure you're trying to be positive at all times, even if it's a negative situation, right? Okay, so my key takeaways are: manifestation is a practice that anyone can use to gain clarity in and potentially influence the direction of their lives. So learning basic components of manifestation practices like the ones we talked about today will help you be more successful in manifesting good things into your life. Find what feels right for you. So there's going to be several approaches to manifestation, which includes, creating vision boards. Maybe you like to journal. I know Jennifer likes to meditate. I like to meditate sometimes too. Meditation is actually really difficult, and that's like a whole other study, like how to meditate. But if you have time, take some time to meditate. There's so many different ways that you can do manifestation in your life, and then empowering your manifestation by practicing to encourage the results you want. So you have to practice it. Our brain, a lot of people like to say the brain is a muscle. It's actually an organ, but it functions like a muscle, and that when we actually keep training it and working it, it gets stronger. So we need to do that with manifestation, train our brain to be stronger, and we will get the results that we want. Okay, that's my little Get clear on what you want, your dreams, your goals, ask the universe, get inspired, trust that it'll work, and then you will get your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, okay? And we're going to currently manifest. So I know I've gone over about 5 minutes, but I want to just take a minute. Everybody, I would like you guys to take a minute to think about something that you want to manifest in yourself today, for yourself today. Maybe it's a dream that you have, a goal for the year. Maybe you want to hit GCI, but I really want you to think about it. Make it be a big thought process of your day today. That item that you think about today, that goal that you think about, I really want you to think about it about 2 or 3 more times at least today. And manifest it and actually really see yourself in that goal and in that dream that you have. Okay. Because what you can visualize in your mind, you can hold in your hands. So I want everyone to get to work on manifesting that dream today.
Lisa, I have a question to you.
Yeah, of course, Anna.
How do you handle and what would you do if you sometimes are surrounded by people who bring you down all the time? Even if you manifesting, they still just kind of try to cut your,
Very good
manifestation, your commitments.
Yeah, very good question. So this was one that I've had to deal with a few times in my life, and sadly, sometimes with family. So I've had some family members and some people in my life that have really hurt me. And I got to a point where I was constantly trying to be positive, constantly trying to take myself out of a negative headspace to be able to interact around these people, or even just to get myself back out of that slump when interacting with these people. Like I leave the conversation, I leave it feeling yucky. That sometimes you have to cut people. And I hate to say that, but sometimes you do need to cut people from your life that are not a benefit to you. No matter if they're family or apparently good friends to you, you need to take back certain things in your life. And if people are negative around you, then they bring no benefit to you, then what's the point of them being there? And if you've tried so often to try to help these people get out of their own slump, and they're still just very negative people, I say limit your time around them. It doesn't mean having to cut them fully, but limiting it. I would say that, Anna. And if it's somebody that you're working with, like maybe it's a client, like I've had a few clients that have been very negative, and it's actually worked to my benefit where I'm constantly always positive with them. So they say something negative and I counter that with only something positive. Or I even have used our tactic where we say, like I'm okay, you're okay, right? So it's like, I hear what you're saying, but, and then I turn that, or however, and I turn that into something positive. And then that tends to make people who are negative have to kind of reframe their own mindset or to retrain their own mindset to come back to, okay, wait, I'm talking to a positive person, and yeah, like this is true, maybe I'm being negative. But it can definitely be difficult. And if worse comes to worse, I just say cut people like that because they're no benefit to your life.
You cannot cut the members of your family.
I will tell you that 100% I have. And I don't regret it, to be quite honest. And I've had other family members come to me and say, that was probably the best thing I did, was to cut certain people in my life because they didn't bring any benefit to it. And then all they did was drag me down. So for me and for my life, that's worked for me. But for you, you need to choose what works for you. And I would say if you don't want to cut them, at least limit that. Anybody else have any questions or anything they want to share?
I love this stuff so much. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much for anybody who participated. You especially, Chuck, you had some great stuff. Anna as well. Yeah, there's so much we can talk about manifestation. And I would say just talk about it in your personal lives with your family and your friends. The more you talk about it, the more you'll think about it, and the more you'll actually put that into action in your own life. So, yeah, I wish all of you guys great things and manifesting all good stuff for you guys today.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. Have an incredible day. Everyone go manifest some amazing stuff. So good. And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.